Hi, everybody. Good morning. This is Trish Kane, CEO and founder of Healerverse. Welcome to the Healerverse Roundtable. Every Friday from 10:30 to 11:30, we come together and we celebrate different types of practitioners and different missions that are doing amazing things to help people to elevate, to heal. There's so much out there. So how do you find out what's out there? I think the best way to do it is to meet some people and find out what they're doing so you could find out who you want to work with and what you want to dive more into. And everyone is welcome. And I'm so happy to see some new faces here today. Welcome. Yes, and today we have Sheryl Lynn coming to you from Las Vegas, Nevada. It's amazing because she's one of the newest members of Healerverse, and we ran into each other at a peace event in West Palm Beach a couple weeks ago. And she is doing amazing things with her mission and her nonprofit. And I'm so excited to learn more about her today because also I have a big network that allows me to help all the practitioners on Healerverse and give them the spotlight. And yeah, I'm so happy that you're here. Thank you for coming.
Absolutely. I have been looking forward to this ever since you mentioned it at the Peace Gala in West Palm Beach.
Yeah,
So thank you for the invitation.
yeah. Thank you so much for coming. You look amazing. I know it's early there and it's Friday. I'm so excited to dive more into what you're doing and like what inspired you to do what you're doing. So the floor is yours and I'll chime in and it's open and yeah.
Wow. I feel like I just got handed a Christmas present this morning. Thank you. I was out really late last night. We had a unexpected invitation. So I went and it turned out to be the most incredible evening. And I think it sums up everything that we're doing, Trish. Everything that I've pretty much been working my whole life on to get to this minute. And so don't you feel like sometimes like you work and work and work and like, is anybody looking? Is anybody watching? Does anybody care? And I feel like when I finally let myself feel to heal, which is really what Joyely is all about, things started to open up and I was able to just let go of whatever was blocking me, whatever the self sabotage was to get to the thing finally, right? So we can do the work and do the impact instead of just talking about it. So, anyway, do you mind if I just share a little bit about the experience that I was at last night?
Absolutely. This is like your floor, like it's all open.
Ah,
Oftentimes I'll put notes in the chat so
mm,
that way, just to
okay.
like highlight what you're saying. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, I feel like there is an opportunity here for us to grow together. So this isn't just about me. This is, like you said, the healer verse. I have a amazing daughter who's my co-founder. Her name is Bailey, and she is also a friend of Daisy's that's on the call here today. She helped create this opportunity that we're talking about today, and she also has an incredible healing opportunity for practitioners who want to expand their businesses. So she helps healers expand. I think she's got 50 different types of modality from baths, bathing, spas, yoga, meditation, all the way to witchcraft and back and forth. So pretty exciting opportunity there. So anyway, so last night I was invited to a veterans conversation. I didn't really know exactly what was going on, but here's the short of it all. They are doing a play, and it's called Now I Get It. And their goal, these three veterans and three wives, is what the play is about, telling a real story of three friends that went to Vietnam. They graduated from high school here in Vegas, I think. I don't know exactly the details, and ended up going all the way to Vietnam without knowing each other. So when they reunited, they sat in a restaurant and they just started telling stories. And that's what this play is about. And the gentleman, Lauren, who's, hold on to your hats for this. Are you ready? He worked with Cher and Bon Jovi and Elton John. And I was just like touching it. I'm like, you touched Cher? Like, oh my gosh, it was so much fun. But anyway, he he wrote this play that their vision is to get it into the presidential library. So what we do here at Joyely and the Chair of Joy is we have a profit and for-profit Joyely, and the Chair of Joy is our nonprofit, is to bring the Chair of Joy into communities, and specifically veterans and seniors and children's schools and things like that. Those are really important. I think corporate is fun and all the things, but I think that the real work is impacting people who are ready to hear this conversation. So anyway, we did a Chair of Joy. And I would like to start one with you, and then I will jump back into the story. So the Chair of Joy is this. Are you ready? Everybody needs to grab their own Chair of Joy. So, Trish, let me just take you off mute for just a quick second. My Chair of Joy is in my kayak when I'm going down a river in Wisconsin with the eagles. It's just a place where I feel home and centered, and I don't have to think about the outside world. Do you have a Chair of Joy that you can point to or pin your brain and your heart and your body and your soul to, if you could think of it?
You know, it's interesting, and thank you
Yes.
for asking. I would say I love kayaking. Yeah. And one of my dreams, like I remember sitting in a halfway house in 2015, and all the, girls were going kayaking and I didn't have the money to go kayaking.
Mm.
So it's funny that that's what you said was yours. And then I bought a house in like 2020, no, 2019, and it came with kayaks and a lake in the backyard and its own dock.
Oh,
And imagine that, so like that brings up a chair of joy for me.
okay. Let's
Yeah.
go with that, kindred
Yeah.
spirit. Thank you for that.
Yes.
All
Yes.
right. For 60 seconds, I would love it if you could close your eyes. You don't have to, but you can if you'd like. So let's everybody, if you can, have some sort of kayaking experience or some sort of river experience. And let's grab your Chair of Joy. And then we'll go through the 4 steps. It's sit, breathe, think, feel, and I'll guide you. So you don't have to close your eyes, or you can, it doesn't matter. Step 1 is imagine yourself sitting in your Chair of Joy, wherever that is, on your kayak, your lake, your beach, your backyard, whatever it is. Doesn't have to be fancy, and it can be real, or it can be in your mind. Step 2, take 2 deep breaths in. So big deep breath in. And this is really helpful for me today because we're just getting started in Pacific Coast time, and just let go of what this show is about, what we need to accomplish today, productivity, all the things. One more deep breath in. And just let yourself drop your shoulders in your chair. You can almost feel your body sinking into your kayak. You can touch the river. You can feel all the worries or any obstacles kind of floating down the river. Let your face relax, your jaw relax, your shoulders drop. Step 3, think about a moment of joy. So maybe something coming up today that you're looking forward to, or it's Friday, the weekend, or maybe something that happened yesterday that just really impacted you and it's sitting in your mind's eye. And then step 4, how you feel this sort of new level of peace or calm or joy is to tap your feet on the ground and let it move up from your toes to your knees, up to your thighs, your hips, your shoulders, your spine, all the way up. And you can feel yourself kind of just sitting up again through your fingertips, and then roll your neck all the way around. And take your time, let your just neck go around. And one more deep breath in, and you can open your eyes whenever you're ready. Beautiful. Good job. Thank you, everybody, for going with me. We went down the river together this morning. Wasn't that fun? Trish, did you
Yes.
enjoy that?
I
Yes.
loved it.
All
I
right.
loved
Cool.
it. I loved it so much, and then it felt so good at the end to move my neck also. Felt really good.
Yes.
And having this vision of when I was kayaking with my dog in, I think we were in Moab. Yeah, we
Mm-hmm.
were in Moab, Utah.
Mm-hmm.
And I love the mountains.
Well, if you're a West Palm girl, then you need to get to all the mountains in the world. They're calling you, it sounds like. All the
Yes.
places. Yeah.
Yeah, I think next week, maybe middle or end of the week, I'll drive to the mountains.
Hmm.
Yeah. And
Good.
go there for a little while. Yeah, maybe like, a week or less.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
really interesting that you said that, because that's what happens. So when people do a Chair of Joy, they start to go, well, wait a minute, that's just right over there. And what's stopping me from doing that? Right. So yesterday there was one of my grant writers was on the phone with me, and she's like, yeah, I don't know what's stopping me from taking a day in the beach. And she's like, when we were done with the Chair Joy, she was online booking her August 2nd date where she was going to take herself on a little excursion. So yeah, our just do it, if you will, is to go anyway. So sit, breathe, think, feel, and then go anyway. What's stopping you? Like, no one's judging you, no one's criticizing, and probably nobody cares, right? Where you do
No,
what you do and what you go.
totally.
So most of the time when you do those things as well, like you just said, Trish, you jump in the car and you go. You don't need to spend $1 million to, go on a vacation, not a million, thousands of dollars to go on a vacation one day, right? You could do it today. So anyway, so last night I did that Share of Joy experience with 5 people, and they were of the veterans community. They all had some sort of tie to that group of people, and myself included. My uncle, 82, was in the Vietnam War. He disappeared one time when he got back, not too long after he was back, for like, I don't know, a month or so, when we couldn't find him anyway. We finally found him on the side of the road from Wisconsin to California. So he just, whatever happened, he just decided to go on a trip, and he must have hitchhiked, he thinks. He doesn't know. But there are so many amazing stories that people are starting to unpack. So what happens is, even like you all, is when we're doing these kinds of opportunities, what happens is we start to notice that people are holding on to so many emotions, right? And so when we did the Chair of Joy, not that my intention is to ask everyone to deeply feel, or that we're therapy of any kind, but just to share something meaningful. And all of the people, because it was such an important topic, were in tears, talking about, their Chair of Joy being with their grandma when they were a little girl, and then they remember grandma massaging their shoulders, and she gave herself a hug like it was real and really happening. And I thought to myself, when's the last time she thought about her grandma in that way? And it was so moving to her. Lauren, who wrote the play, Now I Get It, with the veterans, also said, like, Cheryl, I don't know what's happening with me and getting this project into the presidential library, but it is so big and so beyond me. And so anyway, we went around the table and everybody shared the same type of story. It was so impactful. And anyway, I look forward to working with them. We're going to do some grant writing with them and maybe have them as a beneficiary and move the Chair of Joy opportunity through the veteran community here in Las Vegas. So that's what we're doing a little bit. So do you want to ask me some questions, or should I tell you how we got started?
Yeah, I just want to say thank you so much for what you're doing
Mm,
for the veterans and humanity. And we would absolutely love to hear.
okay.
Yeah.
You're very welcome. This has been a project that has been just like Lauren with the opportunity of the play. It's just been so much bigger than me. I can't keep up with the steamroll of what's happening right now when it comes to the Chair of Joy. We are painting 100,000 chairs of joy, yellow chairs, to distribute to veterans' homes and seniors and recovery centers and Opportunity Village, like places that help disability, and just all over the place. So the idea came to me, like the official Chair of Joy idea, about 2019, just before COVID was starting. And I had done magazines, and I had women's organizations. Our financial success came from being in the food and beverage industry. So I was working with my husband, doing creating a business to bring products to Sprouts and Whole Foods and all the large grocery stores in the country. So that was really fun. But all those years, I kept saying, what's missing? Like, what are people looking for? What's the stuckness about? Like, I get to this point and then I just settle, or I give up, or I change my mind, or it's too hard, or whatever that is. And if your identity was in the food and beverage business and your company didn't pan out because it cost millions of dollars to get on the shelves, then what? Then who are you? Like, all of you, who are you without the current decisions that you've made it for your life right now? What if you hung up the podcast and hung up the projects that you're all working with, what's left? Like, who are you and how do you pick up the pieces and keep going? So that was just a really big question in my mind, my heart, and my soul. So I bought a big fancy chair just before COVID. And my intention was to get people to sit still. What if people just sat still and thought about some of those things for a while? Let themselves, get in touch with God or spirit or universe, like maybe just stop talking long enough to hear what messages our intuition was sharing with us. So when I bought the chair here in Las Vegas, I took it out to Lone Mountain, and everybody was in masks, and it was right at the beginning, right where people were wearing the big gas masks and everything. Like, we were all so far apart from each other. But I put the chair on the trail, and people just walked around and around, very separate. And sometimes they would walk over and maybe look at the chair, but maybe not sit in it. No germs, right? But we would start talking and telling stories, and I would just ask questions. And eventually people sat down as COVID started getting less and less over the next 7 years. So we are now 22 USA tours with the chair. We've done over 40,000 experiences just like that. So this conversation of will you sit still turned into, can you sit still? Can you take a couple of deep breaths, which most of us don't do on a regular basis? Didn't it feel great to take a deep breath? That all by itself was like, oh, like, what is up for me today? I haven't stopped since I opened my eyes this morning, to think about what the day actually could be about instead of the list of to-dos. And then think about, like, instead of I'm going to beat myself up today and I got to do 100 more things, or somehow I don't fit into the world, right? Instead, think about what's the one conversation you can have with your aunt or your friend that you haven't seen in a long time, or who can you call to impact their life, or what did I do yesterday that made me laugh? Like that. That's what the thinking part is about, is trying to bring up a memory that's supportive of you. And so this isn't therapy, but this is you doing your own work. And then the last part, and I know everybody on this conversation can, on this call can hear this, is that the feel is where the healing is, right? If you can feel more, you can heal faster if that's what you want to do. And so when we start with the toes and move it up to our body and our head and roll our neck all the way around, we're actually replacing some of our cells with new energy and new life and new opportunity. And it's kind of like a mini biohack, if you will. There's lots of modalities like this in the world, but my vision is that sit, breathe, think, feel, or a yellow pillow on your chair, or laying over your chair, or even yellow flowers somewhere nearby you, helps you remember to go to your chair of joy, even if it's in your mind's eye, and sit, breathe, think, and feel many, 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 many times a day. So that's kind of it in a nutshell. There's a lot more going on with that, but that's kind of the experience of where we've been and where we're going.
Wow, I'm really grateful to hear all this, and my heart feels so good listening to you. And wow, 40,000 people you've already impacted in the chair.
And climbing. And so a lot of
Yeah.
that was speaking and through podcasts and virtual experiences. But yes, we're just getting started. The 100,000 chairs is really, I think, what's starting to turn it up. And we had the Vegas volunteers over here the other day. We were out in the garage. It was hot, but we painted, I think, 20 yellow chairs between us all. And now they're all finding their way out into the community. So it's been absolutely miraculous.
Wow. And the yellow is like, yeah, I'm just thinking about like Reiki and like yellow. Yellow is like here, which is
Mm-hmm.
actually where you create from, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I don't know if you all know, if you ever pay attention to walking through an airport, this is probably my biggest example of what isn't in the world as far as energy goes. So this yellow feeling is sunshine, it's warmth, it's not toxic positivity. It's just a reminder, if you will. Joy isn't something we seek or look for or go after. In fact, this conversation that I just talked about with the Chair of Joy is built on safety, presence, and joy. And we call it joy intelligence. The more the more we can pay attention during the day to safety, presence, and joy, the more we can experience more of life. So, yeah, the opportunity of tapping into this conversation and expanding our own joy intelligence, which gets us to our genius, our creativity, right? That's what matters. But in the airport, if you think of just walking down the airport, what colors do you see? Black, gray, dark, comfy, and very rarely do you see a spot of yellow. Every now and then there's some pink, and the splashiness of people and the personalities. But what if we all just wore a little bit more brighter color, and just not for anybody else, but just for myself? So when I wear my big yellow sweatshirt that says Joyely across it through the airport, people are just looking at me because it's just kind of like, you can't ignore it, and my intention is not to draw attention to myself, but just to elevate the energy in the room. And it happens like all the time very easily. It's a lot of fun. So
I love that. Yeah, I'm like envisioning you.
you
This
should
is,
see the Joyly parties. Everybody's in
I
yellow.
love
You're like,
that.
who are those folks?
No, that's wonderful because it's also not a common color, right?
Yes, yes,
That's what I'm thinking about. Like yellow is not the most common color. On one of
yes.
the round tables, like we're so wild. We were like, we should invent a color. And
I
then
did invent it.
like
Yes. I
like
did invent a color. So we're working with the Pantone people trying to figure out how to patent this color. So it's a very unique
cool.
shade. And whenever I go try to put my logo on something, I can never find it. So I guess we just
See?
have to have our own merchandise line. That's just the way it goes, I guess.
Yeah. Meanwhile, yellow is such a good color because
Yeah.
it's probably like the brightest color. Yeah,
Mhm.
the sun, like the
Yeah.
moon, the
Yeah.
stars, they're
Yeah.
all yellow and they shine,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And joy is such a beautiful word too.
Yeah. So I don't
Yeah.
know if you know, I don't know if you know, so when I started this 7 years ago, the word joy was not even used. Like if you saw joy on a Christmas card,
Mm,
or I asked people to think of a moment of joy, the only thing they could think of was, well, when my granddaughter was born, or my three children, or when my son graduated from high school, or things like that. That was joy. So if you don't mind, I'd love to just share a little bit of the science that's come out and why this company exists. So the first thing is a very basic conversation between knowing the difference between happy and joy. So if you go on our website, Bailey and I put together a map. It's called the JQ Emotions Map. So Joy Intelligence Emotions Map, built on safety, presence, and joy. And the concept was, none of us could figure out how to speak or have a conversation. So I grew up with a lot of trauma and tragedy, right? There was always another, all of us. So I don't need to call out mine. I don't think I'm different than anybody else, right? Whether it was a bully at school, or alcoholism in the family, or dysfunction, or even, a myriad of things. But at the end of the day, the goal is that we can think about what we can do for ourselves on a daily basis all day long. And so seeking happy is what we have been doing. I used to say to my kids all the time, why can't you just be happy? Right? Have you guys done that? Have you done that with your children? Or what's wrong? I've given you everything under the sun. I can't think of anything else. So happy is one of those things. It's like eating an ice cream cone. I have my happy, and I'm so happy eating this piece of chocolate and this ice cream cone, and then it's gone. And then where does happy go? It kind of just moves away, and all of a sudden you're like, what's next, right? So the first sort of myth, if you will, is that we were all taught that we should seek this happily ever after. So that's why the company is called Joyely, like Joyily Ever After. On the map, there's 80 emotions, which we took down from 3,000 to 160 to 80. And we're even putting it down to 20 for, developing a new language of joy for children, all the things. But what if you felt 80 emotions, or 50 emotions, or even 20 emotions, different than the 4 or 5 we currently have been taught? How are you? I'm fine. I'm good. I'm bad. I'm mad. I'm angry. I'm sad. Maybe 6. right? That's kind of our vocabulary at the current moment. So I don't know if you can see this, but on this card deck that we created, there's a map and it's a circle and there's 80 emotions. And so what we teach people is, what if you felt 20 of them? And what if you could name 15 of those and actually say, I'm not happy. Instead, you say, I'm uplifted, or I'm pleased, or I'm passionate, or I'm hopeful, right? And so just giving our emotion a new word gives us an opportunity to grow and to heal. So yeah. So what was I saying? I was telling you a story about a happily ever after versus joyly. So we ask people to live joyily ever after. Live on the roller coaster, right? Another myth. I have too many emotions, or I'm just a roller coaster of emotions. I've been told that my entire life by everyone around me. And I think that living in a roller coaster of emotions it's kind of got a negative connotation, but roller coasters are fun, aren't they? Right? So please get on your roller coaster of emotions all day long and enjoy the fact that, somebody said something to you that was kind, and they said thank you. And then someone else criticized your idea. Well, thank you very much. You can't control my day. I appreciate you. And then you moved on to making that phone call, and then there was sabotage, like, oh God, why they think I'm too old, or they think I know the degree or whatever the thing was. And then you move on going, I'm going to go have a nice lunch with my friends, right? And there's appreciation, gratitude, peace, awe, creativity, all the things. So just I think getting into the conversation of knowing that there isn't one emotion that's good or bad or right or wrong. That's the science that we've created. Every model up until the one that we created, I think for the last, actually, there hasn't been a really studied model like at Harvard or Yale since over 40 years. So having something new and new conversations we're having with UNLV and Syracuse University and different areas is different professionals in the neurosciences world is showing us that emotions are not good or bad or right or wrong. They just are. We feel all the emotions, and they don't have to keep us in the corner. Like, I say nobody puts baby in the corner, right? For emotions. If I'm sad, it doesn't mean I can't function. It just means I'm in a moment that I need to be, I need to be allowed to feel sad.
You just gave us a different definition of emotional intelligence, and I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Because
It's joy intelligence. I gave you a new definition.
exactly. Yes, because
Yeah.
like oftentimes one of the hot topics lately is emotional intelligence. And if you look at that, it's like kind of like keeping your poker face on and keeping a straight face and whatnot. But that's not necessarily emotional intelligence. If we didn't have a spectrum of feelings, we wouldn't be able to create the things that we're able to create and see like the need for what humans need. And I love that you created that deck, and I know it's available on your website as well.
Amazon.
When I first started working on myself very intensely and deeply in 2014, they had on the wall this chart that just had different faces on it, right? And it described emotions. And I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I wasn't taught or educated as a child to have emotions. Actually, what I experienced was something like, don't cry, don't do this, da da da. But it's like to be able to embrace all of the emotions and to be able to articulate them and understand them at a whole new level is
Yes.
what you're literally doing. So
Yes.
thank you.
You're
Yeah.
very welcome. Thank you for hearing that, Trish. I think it's
Yes.
really important that you call that out. I think IQ has been measured, right? EQ, emotional intelligence, has been amazing because it's taught us how to be aware, to even just make it a priority. Like, wow, emotional intelligence, but it still hasn't really given us a way to navigate and regulate, which is what joy intelligence is, right? So, yes, understand it, realize what safety, presence, and joy is, and then actually navigate and regulate. And no one can do that for us. Not a therapist. Therapists, yes, when we get there, but not between our appointments. So what happens when our therapist is appointments on Friday? What do we do between Monday and Friday, right? Most of the time we're just sitting in it and spinning and wondering, and how do we get through this? So if we could all learn to sit with ourselves, sit quietly long enough to even know what emotion is going on, and to have something in front of us that goes, well, let's see, like, so we have stages on here. Like, we do a whole training about this map, and we get very deep into the conversation about how to speak to emotions in a new way. So it's been amazing and fun, and people are very receptive to a new conversation.
I just put in the I'm all about the chat, and I like to define stuff. I like to highlight big things that
Okay.
the speaker's saying. So I just put in there the definition of emotional intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to ask you, if you don't mind, can you tell us a little bit about what you're doing with children?
Absolutely. Oh
Thank
my
you.
goodness. I would
Yeah.
love to do that. Um, so if you go to our website, you can see our children's chairs of joy. And that's, for me, is where it started, because I think that uh, as a parent myself, like, I didn't really know how to speak to children, or my children, when it came to when things went awry. So I always use the example of when a child's coloring on the wall. So what's the first thing that most of us do as parents? Like, we start to escalate our like, oh, or that's not what we do, right? And the child doesn't know. It's like, well, you gave me a color. What you told me, you didn't say don't color on the wall. So, right. So at first, the first thing is, what's wrong? What did you do wrong? Don't do that. And the timeout chair was the thing that it's not that it was the thing, but still is today. I just spoke with a parent over the weekend who lives in Pasadena, who that's what they do. That's the timeout chair. Again, there's nothing wrong with the concept, but I mean, there's nothing wrong with people making that decision, because that's what we've known, right? Right, Trish? Did you use it? I don't know if you have children, or if the people here have children, but that's the modality that we've been taught, right?
I have a dog.
I love it.
And he's
I
a
love it.
rescue, so
Yes,
and he's been through a lot. So I
yes,
do use a lot of different methods with him.
yes.
Yeah, because he gets very nervous. He's been all over the
Mm,
world with me, but sometimes he gets very nervous, even
yeah,
though sometimes he's not nervous and
yeah,
he's sweet as pie.
yeah. Haley Stewart, who is our CEO, co-CEO, has dogs, and we do the chair of joy when he's sitting on, or Punky's sitting on the bed back there too, and you can just see Punky kind of like settling into a chair of joy, and then when we're excited, it's just so fun. Like, I've done chairs of joy with dogs too, so that's really cool. So sit, breathe, think, feel with a dog, and we can talk about. But let's do children first.
I love kids. I
Yes,
don't have any, but when they see me, they
yes,
just glue to
yes,
me. Like it's
yes,
animals do that to me too.
yes.
And I love kids, and I'm so happy that you're helping them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the idea of the timeout chair is just kind of what's wrong, what's broken. It's like a mini form of capital punishment, right? And so the kid's thinking like, oh, my mom and dad's demeanor changed. So the chair of joy is just set in the corner, a yellow one, hopefully, or a pink one, or whatever the child's preference is. Or I often tell people to go to Goodwill and buy a chair and paint it, or do whatever you need to do. Make it rainbow or cafe or sprinkle or sparkles or whatever it is, but just stop saying the words chair of joy. So when the coloring on the wall happens, I'll walk you through coloring on the wall. So the parents' emotions escalate, like angry, like not like I'm gonna beat you necessarily, maybe, but most of the time it's just like, pulling my hair out, like, those kinds of things. So moving both of you to the chair of joy, and there you are. So mom, dad, and child. So you're sitting there. And so instead of talking about the actual misdemeanor, that you start talking about the chair of joy. So to the child, sit down, let's just sit. So, and then for the little ones, we hold them and breathe. I know 2-year-olds that can breathe so well, just being hugged like this, and mom helps them, mom, dad helps them. If it's a 5-year-old or a little older, it's right. And all of a sudden they start calming down. If it's teenagers, we've got another way to do that, right? That's a whole nother thing. And then, okay, and so then we move on to the think. So instead of like, think about this morning, I'll just say, well, think about what. So I wouldn't say think. For little ones, I'll say, we ate breakfast this morning. Do you remember we had breakfast this morning? And the kid stops thinking about the wall, the child, and starts thinking about what breakfast. And then the feel part, that warm syrup. Was that your favorite? That warm syrup? So you can get them to start understanding how to feel emotions at a very young age. So that's it. And then when you're on a walk later in the evening, we can say, hey, what about that coloring on the wall thing? What was going on there? What happened? And talk through it instead of being, angry in the moment. And sometimes those kinds of things escalate and get out of control. So, and to take that further than our goal, right, this conversation of the yellow chairs in classrooms, I have a principal and superintendent meeting coming up very soon here in Las Vegas about how do we get, 50 chairs in classrooms before school starts, and what's the way to teach. So I have it. So far, I have the Chair of Joy, what the sit breathing feel in Navajo, so English, Spanish, Navajo, and sign language. So we're expanding that even more as we go forward. Yeah.
Thank you for what you're doing. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Does anyone have any questions? We have Wayne here from the Peace Tribe, and
I'd love to know what the Peace Tribe is. Was that part of the Peace Gala, or is that something else?
oops, I hit mute. I meant to hit S to unmute. Sorry, Wayne.
Yeah, I feel so loved. My emotion of love just came through there. Thank you, Trish. So before we get into the Peace Festival, thank you, Sheryl. I would say it's all new to me, what you just were describing. And, I was brought up in the age of big boys don't cry and do what I say and so on. And so I just grew up with emotions inside the whole time. And my immediate reactions to my emotions was fight or flight. And most of the times I ended up in fight. So I became a pretty good street fighter.
Wow.
But it was just my immediate reaction until I started learning more about life in general. And I think most kids don't have the maturity of emotions. So the education is so important. So what you're doing at that level is amazing. And then I will jump into my corporate world, which is a chair in corporate world would be amazing too. And I'm sure you're doing that, where in boardrooms and in discussions and in meetings that do get hyped up, and people are allowed to share emotions more freely than just how we're going to hit the next big goal, right? Because once you do that,
or not, right? Or
Yeah.
not. So I'm not feeling like if my aunt died or my dog died last night, I should be allowed to just let everybody know what we call the inactive state. I just should be in this meeting today, which, great. Thank you for letting us know. So you're absolutely right, Wayne.
Yeah, and I just watched a video on Ramanan Maharshi. Boy, that's hard to say for me. And stillness is the answer to the truth, right?
Yes.
So it's this education on being still. And for a lot of people, it's very new. And for some people, they've been doing it for years. And I will say that I'm connecting with younger and younger children that are being led in this awakened state of meditating. So parents like yourself are the ones leading that to the children, who will then lead the next generation of children. And that's beautiful. That's truly what we need in this world at this time. Is we can't be in a big rush to change it or improve it, or whatever word we want to use for that, but it's definitely needed. So thank you so much. I did work with autistic children in school as an assistant teacher, and eventually their gift for being good was to spend one-on-one time with me in the corner. So to be able to feel emotions and to feel trauma is a gift, and that's beautiful. So thank you for sharing that. The Peace Festival.
Thank you for hearing it.
Yeah, no, thank you.
And that's important.
The Peace Festival you're asking about, we've held 17, and then I just paused for this year, but it was a way for us to come together and educate on healing ways So for speakers to be able to speak for 30 to 45 minutes on what they're presenting, half of them have never spoken in front of an audience before. And the people who were listening or attending, the goal was to be able to listen and not to judge and not to not trust that person on where they're coming from because it's their journey. And it ended up with this beautiful energy throughout the day that we all were able to sit and share in. And after the first one, I just knew this was a way for me to move in my life. And so that's kind of what we will be doing more coming up in the fall.
Wow, well, keep me informed, Wayne, and thank you for your work as well. That's brilliant.
You're very welcome.
Yeah. Oh, I can feel the energy of that, right? Like a whole room full of people who are talking about sitting still. Yeah, I think sadly, I think meditation, I think the numbers are ridiculous. Like 2 out of 100 people do it, and of those 2, 1 thinks they're doing it right. So I think meditation is very personal, and there's a lot of different ways to have the conversation about that, and I'm really glad that people are having it. I think that the Chair of Joy is a meditation. It's a mindset practice. And so what I've heard when people say, well, finally, I don't just have to go in a corner and sit and close my eyes and let my mind go over. I actually have something to do while I'm there. Sit in my chair of joy at the beach. Breathe. Okay, got it. Think. Oh, I know what to do. Feel it in my body. Okay, I'm off. Right. So a lot of times before the 60 seconds is even over, people are off doing the thing because like Trish, she's like, I'm going to the mountain this weekend, right? Or I'm going to schedule a trip, or I'm going to call a friend that I haven't talked to in a very long time. Likely the impact of that is touching people that you might not have thought of, that it's really not about you today. Maybe it's somebody else who came up that said, wait, somebody needs me more than me being worried about my crap today. So yeah, I appreciate that, Wayne. That's really powerful. Let me know how I can help.
Thank you so much. And you're in Vegas?
Yes.
Very cool.
Yes, we have our East Coast headquarters in West Palm, though, so we go there a lot. Yeah.
All right, great.
Sorry, did I say East Coast or West Coast?
Yes.
I meant East Coast. East Coast. In West Palm, Florida. That would make more sense.
All right, great. Yeah, we're just north of that, so a couple hours.
Okay. Wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, we'll stay in touch. Thank you.
Oh, you're very welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, Wayne. Yeah, I think too, we wanted to do like an event down here in a few months. So maybe we can all collaborate on that and bring you back to the East Coast.
Oh, please do. I know Darius is part of the conversation today who introduced us. And so he has lots of events going on all the time. So one of the conversations I really want to have is with family offices. So those are offices that are, if everyone's familiar, that are over 150 million in assets. And usually that's a lot of the money that controls it's the Warren Buffetts of the world, right? And so for the most, and I don't want to stereotype, but there's a lot of, I have a family business, right? It's not that, but it's a family operated business. And there's always some level of miscommunication or, judgment or feelings getting hurt or money creates havoc a lot. So I have quite a few of those conversations happening all around the country and the world, actually. So that is one of the places I think if you can trickle the conversation down to the people, you know what I mean. So when you can get the top to tap in and actually understand how this could literally heal the world, if people sat still more often within your own families, within your communities, within the world, what would our nation look like? What would our world look like? What's possible when we sit together in silence for a minute, 50,000 of us, and those kinds of things. So we have the National Chair of Joy Day on October 18th, which I'm very excited. So if anybody wants to plan an event around October 18th, we have people all over that can volunteer or come help out or bring a chair. So we're really excited about that.
Thank you so much for sharing that. Yeah. So, there's so many different kinds of family offices, and I mostly speak at family office conferences. I'm speaking at one tomorrow. It's the World Cup in Miami. And a lot of like celebrity rappers are going to be there sharing the stage with me. And I have like a whole, idea for going into that tomorrow too, to complement them with Healerverse. And I'm glad we're having this conversation today because even yesterday, Sheryl Lynn texted me and she was, because we saw each other at an event a couple weeks ago. And she was making a list of the people she met, and I have everyone's phone number.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes, Muhammad Ali's first wife was there. I don't know quite how to
Yeah.
say her name correctly, but what is it?
Yeah. I just call
Yeah,
her Mrs. Ali.
yeah,
Yeah.
Mrs. Ali.
Yeah. Yeah.
She
Yeah.
she embraced me in a hug that I can't even
Yeah.
tell you. It was like we didn't have to say any words. I was just like the energy and the opportunity to impact was so palpable in that room that night. The 19 Peace Gala Award. So I just thank you, right? I knew 15 of them. I thought I was on a track, but you know all of them and you know you have their phone numbers, so that's really incredible.
That's so cool that we know the same people too. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's amazing. Yeah, I'm excited to be on tour with Sony actually. And yeah, and I'm grateful. I get a lot of cool experiences and I'm sure you do too, like what you got to experience last night, you know. I'm seeing a huge shift in humanity and you also mentioned heal the world. And that's our vision statement for Healerverse is heal the
Mm,
world. And
mm.
I remember, I'll never forget this because anytime anybody challenges me, I remember I'm a stubborn Aquarius, okay? But somebody said that cannot be your vision statement. That's too big.
Totally. People say that to me all the time too.
Yeah. And
And
it's
why
like
not?
maybe for you.
Mhm, mhm,
But it's like, it's gatherings like this that are, when we come together and we're all doing our own part, whether it's the peace tribe, whether, everything, right?
mhm.
We're all
Yes.
doing our own part, then it becomes possible. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Trisha, I would just ask that you could remember to include the fact that to heal the world, how do you do that? What's the one word that I said? Do you remember?
Joy.
No. You have to, it's a good one. Safety, presence, and joy.
One
Definitely
word.
is joy. You have to feel to heal.
Heal. Yes.
Heal.
Yes.
Feel to heal.
Yeah.
So one of my friends, her
Yeah.
name is Trisha Brown. She's Nicole Brown's sister from OJ Simpson conversation. And talk about a human being that went through so many emotions her whole life, like just OJ's passing not too long ago. And she had to like start all over again. And she's like, I finally just figured out like the only way I could function was to feel everything every day, all day long. So feel to heal. And she says those words all the time. And it's just, I don't think we can say it enough. Like, not too long ago, I did a chair of joy with a banker. So I go in, I'm opening up a new account. I'm so excited. I meet this fabulous woman dressed to the T, and she's like, "What do you do?" And I'm like, "Oh, chair of joy." And I'm like, "I want to do it quick." And I'm like moving really fast. And I'm like, "Yeah, if you want to close your eyes, chair, sit, breathe, big feel." And I open my eyes, and she's just bawling. And I'm like, "What happened?" Like, I thought we were having fun. And she's like, "I miss my boys so much. Like, I've just been working my butt off." And so the ability, the chaoticness or the tipping point for us is cranked up so high with all the social media right now. Like nobody's, like Moyne said, who stops to sit still to even feel that you're missing your boys? Like that's something that we need to do all day long for ourselves as moms, as human beings, as dads, as not about our kids necessarily, but like I went on a golf trip last weekend and I don't have time to remember the fun that I have because I got to do all these 1,000 other things. So yes, feel to heal, Trish, and just let's heal the world, but let's give people permission to have a chair of joy and to feel something more than sad, mad, glad, angry, and whatever.
Thank you so much for giving that example too, because
Yes.
like you're giving people, you mentioned permission to
Mm-hmm.
be able to experience that. And when you even look at manifestation, and manifestation is the buzzword, right? It's exactly what you just said.
Yeah.
And oftentimes, like, I mean, I grew up on Wall Street, okay? So like if you think stopping was a thing, it was non-existent, right?
Correct.
And it
Yeah.
wasn't until I had no choice but to do what you're saying, to do my own chairs of joy. And I had to sit in a chair of joy for like years. It's like,
Yes. That's what I love about this modality that we came up with, and I give a lot of credit to my friend Trish Shaw. Oh my gosh, she's a coach. She's an energy coach. I will text you her full name because we need to give her a shout out. But my
Sure.
chair of joy, sit, breathe, think, feel when I first started was very long. It didn't have those four short words, and so we took a conversation that could be very complicated and spent years getting it down to just the four short words. But we all do it in some way. You know, some people say, "Well, my chair of joy is riding my bike." Well, cool, right? That the fact that you're moving your body on a bike, you know, where you're sitting, you're breathing, obviously, you're thinking about the trees instead of your office and whatever, and feeling some level of something else. And so yeah, we all have a way of doing it. And being on Wall Street, I'd love to hear what that was for you. But congratulations. Like, I can tell your safety, presence, and joy, or joy intelligence, all of us here, right, is elevated because it's the work that we do. And so our new neural pathways are not like, I'm not slamming the door or road rage, or like, we have a different way of handling the things that are coming our way because of the work and the wisdom that we've created in our lives. So also thank you for your work, Trish, and being on those stages, and you have the opportunity to heal the world.
Thank you, and you as well. And actually, like every Friday at 10:30 is also a chair of joy for me. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter like what happens the whole week, when I'm able to sit here and come heart to heart with some of the most amazing people that I believe are in the world,
Mm-hmm.
that maybe, you know, like this is it, you know? Yeah.
Yes.
And to be able to be vulnerable and open, and there's no rules, right? I'm big on no rules. Be
Yeah.
nice to each other, and that's it. That's the rule. And I also, so like one other thing I just want to mention is that in 2019, for the first time, I entered into like this group of women, and they were like, write down your dreams, right? And I had never written down my dreams. If anything, anytime I had some outrageous idea, according to, you know, everybody else, it was always brought up all the reasons that it wouldn't work out, I would fail, da 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 da, da, to
Yep.
protect, right? It's almost like
Yep.
a protection thing.
Yes.
Similar to like, oh, maybe for you, you can't heal the world, but like we come together and we do it. So I wrote down those dreams for the first time.
Yes.
And like that could be a good thing for people when they're doing the chair to just write down a little bit after what they had experienced.
Yes.
So that way they're able to, you know, come back to that and watch how it happens. And it could be something as simple as going to visit the people that you didn't realize that you missed.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a silly dream like, hey, I need to move to the mountains again.
Yes. You summed it up so incredibly well. And I don't know how you did that, and why didn't we work together years ago? But
God put us together now.
woo, but yes, the sit, breathe, think, feel, and then go anyway. Go to the mountain, go do the thing. So I have a big shirt now that's go anyway that we're just getting finished. So we should do it. We have a retreat coming up called Go Anyway, and I would love for you to be a speaker. It's going to be in Portland, and we are having so much fun hearing stories from people like Daisy. I don't know if you want to hear from Daisy really quick, but she
Yeah,
does the chair
absolutely.
of joy all the
Yeah.
time. She, you know, we set each other up for success. That's what we do as friends. She was just at the SciCon conference where there was sports, entertainment, and innovation, and all my staff was there. But Daisy, my friend, she's like, you, NFL player, you, basketball player, Greg Odom, you know, all the people. You need to come sit in the chair of joy, because if you miss this, you're missing out on life. So Daisy, I'd love for you to just come on and share a little bit. That would be so
Oh,
amazing.
thank you so much. I am in this journey with Sheryl Lynn. I actually met her also in one of the networking events. I was just sitting talking, networking, and I'm sorry, I'm with a little backstory. And then she plops herself right beside me and he says, I want to know you. I said, okay. I don't know anybody. I just moved to Vegas about a year ago, literally. So I'm still trying to get in the community, get to know people. And this lovely woman says, I want to get to know you. I said, okay. And I said, so she says, what do you do? So I tell her what I do, and she's fascinated by it. I'm a geek, so she knows this. And she goes, so you're going to love my daughter. Anyways. And I said, what do you do? And I am all about emotional intelligence. I can never sit still and meditate, I'll be honest. Like, so when she told me about what this is, and it took me, that 1 minute to actually be present just with myself, because what I do is it involves a lot of my brain. I'm always focused on some things. I'm not even tunnel vision, it's just like the world around me just stops, literally, as long as I'm focused on what I'm doing. And then, but when I'm outside that world, she just taught me to really breathe, because what I do is always just thinking. And sometimes I notice myself not breathing. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I'm breathing through my nose, but not breathing intentionally, basically. And then she goes, I just know I needed to know you. And then she invited me on a couple of things. And fortunately enough, I'm part of this JQ60 that came on stage. And so that also opened me up. Like, what do I do really on a daily basis that would make me present? And it's literally just my cat. I have a 17-year-old Maine Coon, and my talk was about Miss Cat named Bob, and that I would hold him because he always wakes me up. He knocks on my door, basically, meow, 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 and then I hear the tap, 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 and just wake up. Or if I'm laying in the couch, he'll literally just jump on my chest and just like lick me. It's like, give
Yeah.
me attention. I'm here as a being,
Yeah. Mhm.
But we ignore our pets even, and just like you, Trish, like you have a dog. So sometimes you go, "Oh, you're there. I'll pet you later." So intentionally, every morning before I even turn on my laptop, I would grab Bob for 5 minutes, and I would just pet him. He would lick me like before I even look at anything, and
Mm.
then it's just like my day starts. And so my talk was about presence is free. You don't have to think about it. You don't have to earn it. It's you.
Mm.
It's
Mm.
you. And
Yeah.
so when you just think about it long enough that you've been present, it's not about who I was when I was, the next thing I'm going to do, but who I was when I was just sitting down for that 5 minutes, right?
Mm.
And so that starts my day. So she's taught me to notice that and really put more effort to that for myself, and to feel really each emotion. Like everybody said, we suppress that as kids. I mean, Gen X especially, right? Like we were just taught, go out there and do your own thing, and then we help each other out. At the end of the day, you come back when food is ready, type of stuff. So feeling the emotion has gotten me better. And I've had some previous like things that happened in my life. That's why I moved, all that type of stuff. So it's allowed me to feel my emotions.
Yeah.
If I'm talking to a client that's really, really annoying, my first thing to do is like, oh, she's so annoying. I can't stand, I'm dreading having this phone call today, but she pays my bills. You know what I mean? So I have to put up with it. So, but the word is not put up, but acknowledge the emotion. Like, this is your patient. It's not her. You know what I mean? So if I acknowledge that this is not about her, this is about me and how I'm reacting to her, I have to switch that feeling into, she's just expressing herself the way she is, which doesn't align with how you express yourself, but that doesn't mean she's wrong, or you don't have to get upset about it. So she's just allowing me to kind of pause about what I'm feeling at that moment, instead of
Yeah.
internalizing it, acknowledging it, and then move
Yeah.
past it. So
Daisy, you'll have to put your contact information in
Yeah.
the
yeah,
because
thank
she
you.
has an
Yeah.
incredible podcast as well. So
Yeah, I have a podcast. It's all about AI, but we talk about how it being human, about AI, like, the
yeah,
humanity about it. And so what I
yeah,
do is
thank you.
really
Thank
geeky
you.
in marketing. My
Yeah.
corporate world is actually telling people stories to AI about being human. There's
Mm.
so much going on about how AI runs our world and runs our business. People copy paste thinking that that's them, and they're gonna be millionaires around it. But AI is also looking for human answers. So AI
Yeah.
actually will discriminate. I'm not using the word loosely here. Using discriminate those answers that are very robotic and technical. It kind of knows. It doesn't
Yeah.
necessarily know, but it knows what's woven in it are real stories.
I think that's a really good point, right? Is
Mhm.
AI is kind of taking over the world. And so I think even people are using AI as therapy. And so Bailey, being the geek that she is, she will watch an interaction with a large language model that, one of them and how it responds, right? And it's kind of scary actually, right? And then when we put our API over it using our technology, the conversation is different because we are helping AI speak with our data. So Trish, what else you got? Do you have any other questions?
I was just telling my next meeting that I'll be there in a moment.
Yeah. Yes.
No, I think that's great. And I'm really excited to meet with Daisy as well. I'm an AI nerd as well. And we love nerds here. So come back every week, please.
Yes.
And I'm so grateful. Thank you so much for coming today. This was profound. And we can't wait to hear more about the retreat that you have and everything you're doing and how we can all come and support you collaboratively. And I'm excited to collaborate with you. And everybody, we'll see you next week.
I appreciate you, Trish. Have a wonderful event tomorrow too, and thank you for your time. See you soon. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you,
Bye bye. Yeah.
everyone.
Bye bye.